What helped me the most with the happiest toddler on the block was using the fast food rule. The fast food rule is basically listening to your child's needs, and instead of just giving them the thing that they're asking for right away, because sometimes we can't give them what they're asking for, or if we give them what they're asking for, we might just be teaching them that they'll always get what they ask for, and that's not healthy. Well, so what I learned was the fast food rule is repeating after the child and showing a little bit of emotion. So let me give you an example. Say my son is saying, "Mama cookie, mama cookie, mama cookie." And I'm like, okay, he clearly wants a cookie, but first off, we haven't had breakfast. And he hasn't eaten well today. Or for whatever reason, maybe we don't have a cookie at home. Then what I say is, "Cookie? Want cookie?" And then he goes, and I'm like, "Oh, I see, you want cookie. We don't have cookie right now. Here, you can have this instead." Many times that works. Sometimes it doesn't, if he's tired, if he's in a bad mood. And he can tell if I'm tired or if I'm in a bad mood too. So he will take the energy that I'm sharing. He will grab into the energy that I'm sharing and become that. It's incredible. Kids are very receptive to whatever their parents are going through. That's why it's so important to take care of yourself. If you can, just a little bit, check in with yourself. Take care of yourself. You are the number one person in your life. Your relationship with yourself matters so much. Even if you do one little thing that's kind to yourself, that can make a big difference. I know it's hard, so it's not my place to comment on whatever it is that you may be going through right now, but I just want to share with you that this can be a helpful thing to maybe consider in the future. The fast food rule has been great. It was weird at first when I started using it, and there's a clue to it. If a kid is distressed and they're very stressed out for whatever reason, use as little words as possible, because children are really great at learning to read facial expressions. So my son can see my facial expressions and he can tell oh, mommy understands how I feel because she's reflecting some of my feelings on her face. So whenever it was a want cookie, I'm like, "Want cookie?" Kind of worried, kind of a little bit worried, but not out of control. That he knows that I'm still in charge, but that I see him. Hopefully that's helpful. You can always let me know in the comments if you're a little bit confused. I can explain it a little bit further. The book Hunt, Gather, Parent was so amazing that it's impossible to tell you all the things that I loved about it, that I use in every day, just in one video, or at least a shorter video. So I'm going to give you two things. It helped me with my son being more helpful, and it helped me regulate myself and him whenever having a tantrum, which helped decrease the tantrums a lot. It helped with him being helpful by me inviting him into helping me during any kind of task. So putting the clothes in the laundry, I invited him. "You want to help?" Or not really, actually catch on that. You don't want to say, "Do you want?" You just say, "Come help me." It's like an invitation. Sometimes they'll do it, most of the times they won't, but it's the idea that you're telling them "Oh, you belong here. Come on, you can help me." Which brings me to another advice. It's expect kids to misbehave. This one, it stinks because we want kids to be well behaved. It would be great if kids just did what we told them and then that'll be fine. Unfortunately, that's not how brain development works. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of work, and it can be frustrating. Your frustration is very understandable. That's why there's self-help books. That's why there's material out there to get to know things and to understand how to handle these situations, because it's really hard. I'm telling you, it's been so difficult for me too. So what I do is I expect him to misbehave. Whenever I get angry, every time I've gotten angry at my son, and I walk away, I recognize that what happened was I was expecting him to do it right. I was expecting him to do the thing that I wanted him to do correctly, or I was expecting him to give me space. So the anger usually comes from a boundary being broken. And boundaries are very important, but we have to understand that children are learning those things, and they're small and their brain doesn't really know. So it's our job to understand like what level of boundaries they have at that moment. And again, that can be really difficult if we didn't have that growing up, and we may not see that right now growing when we're growing ups, because that's not what we were taught. So I can talk a little bit more about it. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. Next thing I want to mention is I read a blog about how to model with grace. It's funny because I listened to these books, I practiced, I did so much work, and I still messed up. And that's a human thing. Not to beat myself up about it, but more so just like to be clear and honest with you. We will still continue to do things repeatedly because these behaviors are ingrained in our nervous system, and we're still learning how to show up, how to do different, how to handle things and manage things. So I joined this Facebook group on this Hunt Gather Parent book, and I started asking questions about it. And I said, well, what do I do? My son doesn't want to help me. I feel like I have to force him to help me. I feel like I have to give him something in order for him to help me, otherwise he's not going to collaborate. And a mom posted an article in there talking about how to model with grace, and it explained that children learn the most about what parents do. So it's not so much do as I say, but do as I do. And even though I kind of knew it on paper, I didn't realize it until I had that experience of my son not helping me. And what was happening was I was expecting him to do it, and I was getting upset that he wasn't doing it. So I was trying to force it, but really that was causing a lot more tension and power struggles. What I did was I started to model with grace by just saying, okay, you don't want to pick it up right now? That's fine, I'll help you this time. I'm sure you'll help me next time. Maybe they won't help you next time, but maybe they will. And you just model that you trust that in his heart, eventually he will learn that we help the people that we love. Just like I'm helping him because I love him. So let me know if this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. I really love talking about these things, and there's so much more I would love to tell you that I have learned that has been helpful to me, and I really hope that this helped you, and thank you so much for being here. Thank you very much for listening to this. It means a lot. Thank you. Take care.